I just recreated NextJS in TanStack Start. I know it sounds crazy, so let me show you. So this is the app that I built, and this is a very typical app. This is an organization management tool. So you have your dashboard, and this is the home screen. You can see the organizations, and there's also a few links to create an organization or to add employees. If you navigate to the employees, you can see all the employees. You can also edit them, and of course, you can also delete an employee. So when you go to an organization, there is this warning that is shown, and it just says that you have to proceed with caution because everything that you do here is kind of dangerous. And once you click on confirm, then you can see the organizations. You can also add a new organization or delete existing ones and so forth. I know this looks like a completely normal application, but let me show you the code because I think you're going to be surprised. If you open the code, you're going to see that we have a source folder, and inside of it, we have a app folder. So it's not a routes folder like you would expect in TanStack Start or Router, it's an app folder. But the craziest thing is that when you open the app folder, you're gonna see that we are dealing with page.tsx files, exactly like you would expect in Next.js. And on top of that, we also have a few layout files. And this layout file here inside the organizations is what I'm using to show this warning. So how did I do this? Well, let me show you. But first, a word from today's sponsor, Testsprite. AI-assisted coding literally shaped how we write code. Coding with AI is all fun until the code doesn't work exactly as you expected or doesn't work at all, which means you have to go after it and clean up and debug the code, which is not only tedious, but really defeats the whole purpose of using AI. But it doesn't have to be that way, because with Testsprite, you can have AI test your code like a real user. Using their MCP server that connects directly to Cursor, it can generate a feature specification, which is then turned into a list of logical steps that the user would follow, which is then turned into real end-to-end tests. Check out their starter plan that not only uses the advanced models, but it also happens to be free for the first month. Check it out at testsprite.com. Thanks for Testsprite for sponsoring this portion of the video. But first, why would anyone want to have the Next.js app structure inside their TanStack Start project? Well, there are two solid reasons for that. The first one is that if you are migrating from a Next.js application to a TanStack Start application, then you don't need to move or rename so many files, which means the differences that you see in your Git history is going to be very follow through. And it's also really easy to see a file history if it doesn't change a name inside the Git history. The second reason is more of a personal preference, but maybe you are a Next.js user who just got used to how the routes are defined in Next.js and you don't want to change that yet. So that way you don't have to deal with changing the whole structure of the application, and you can make the switch whenever you want. And especially if you are working on a larger team, then you don't have to go through that change at all as a team. I'm going to put a few screenshots right now on my face showing the changes that I had to do to go from Next.js to TanStack Start. If you're interested in a video where I show you how to migrate from Next.js to TanStack Start, and I'm talking about the whole deal, like not only renaming files, but also how to load data and how the concepts translate from Next.js to TanStack Start, please let me know about that in the comments below. But now let me show you how I did this in TanStack Start. So this is actually very straightforward to do. If you go to your project, you're going to find a Vite configuration file, and this is vite.config.ts. And these are the plugins that you would typically have in your TanStack Start application. And here we have this TanStack plugin, and here we can configure it. So here we can pass in router, and we can define how the router works. So the first field you want to add here is routes directory, and this is to specify where the routes are to be found. Normally by default that is routes, but here you can pass in app. Now you can also define how an index page looks like. So index token is the name of the setting here that we need to set. I'm going to set this to page. So page.tsx or JSX is going to be interpreted as the index page of a route. And now we can also pass a route token. And here we're going to set it to layout. And this is actually really interesting because in TanStack Start, how routes are defined is a bit different than in Next.js. In Next.js, you have this layout and then you have a page. And in vanilla TanStack Start, you normally have the route itself, And inside of it, you have the index page and the subroutes. And right now, by adding this layout, we make this separation pretty clear. And by the way, thanks to Angel Nunez for telling me about these settings in TanStack Start, which I was, to be honest, not aware of. One quick thing before you go, I have started a new newsletter. It's called TanStack Weekly. And every week I just share everything that happens inside the TanStack ecosystem. And we're talking about updates from the libraries, but also cool projects and cool videos or blog articles. So if that's something that you find interesting, please check it out at TanStackWeekly.com. I'm going to put the link to that in the description as well. Thanks again for watching and see you in the next video.